Oh gosh, everything looks so intricate. I hope I don't mess this up. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today, this parcel from Kickstarter just arrived. And inside, I have a Goodsmile figure. Wait, Kickstarter and Goodsmile? Since when did that happen? Well, let me open this up and show you what I got. This parcel from Kickstarter was shipped by EMS for about 7,200 yen, which is about 55 USD. And if you haven't guessed yet, this is from the Plantopia team. I got this thank you card for supporting the crowdfunding. This campaign is for the alpha figure by one of my favorite artists, Lam. Together with Kukka, another very good artist for backgrounds, and Kouka Nozomu, an author, an entire backstory for this figure was created. And I think the Plantopia team is hoping to expand it into an anime, as well as games in future. Well, I hope they do too. When ordering this figure through Kickstarter, there are additional goodies for the various tiers. I personally got tier 3 to get the illustration book and merch, plus the figure. This was limited to 1,200 sets only, but it's not like it was maxed out. The highest tier is level 5, where you get an acrylic panel as a backdrop for the figure, plus an additional animation keyframe, which is like a poster of one keyframe of the sketched animation work. They don't reveal what the artwork is, so if anyone got this, please share what it is. After all, only 49 people in the world got it, so I'm curious. For this Kickstarter, we managed to hit all the stretch goals. So I got the keyframe book and storyboard book, cause I like these sort of things. We also managed to unlock the special monochrome version of this figure, and this can only be obtained through the Kickstarter campaign. I wonder if anyone got it. Please share photos or MFC if you did. I would love to see it. For myself, I stuck to the colored version cause I like things with colors. This is the default version, non-scale figure of Alpha from Plantopia, illustrated by Lam and manufactured by Goodsmile company. I think maxfactory was also part of the process. I got this figure with all the goodies for 49,000 yen, which is about 375 USD. In this Kickstarter timeline, they gave out the various rewards progressively. There is 2 sets of digital rewards issued sometime in July 2023, and subsequently they issued the physical goodies in September 2023. Finally, after about 2 years, I got this figure in October 2024. They sure kept me entertained over the 2 years with the progressive issuance of rewards. First up are the digital rewards. The first batch is this PDF of the project proposal, which features character designs and background scenes. I also got some high-res images which I can use for my desktop. In the same month, they also gave out the second batch of digital rewards, which includes a soft copy of the illustration books and more high-res images. But I stupidly missed the deadline. Lol, now I feel so sad. Sobs. After about a year of waiting, the team then sent out the tier 3 physical rewards plus add-ons. I'm glad I had something to look forward to in between the long wait. And there is no extra shipping for this. Inside this little parcel, I got a set of stickers with Alpha and the Plantopia logos. I also got Haru's clear acrylic bookmark with prints of blue flowers inside. I wish the colored print was printed on both sides. Next, I got Haru's book jacket, which is in a very nice fabric material. By the way, Haru is another character in Plantopia. Probably is Alpha's love interest? Maybe? Well, I don't know, but I kinda ship them. Next, I got the keyframe animation poster of Alpha that comes with the tier 3 rewards. It's in a sketch style which I love. This is not the special keyframe poster which only 50 people in the world could get, cause I didn't want to pay so much. But I'm curious to know what it looks like. Anyway, next up is one of my favorite goodies. It's the Plantopia Design Works book featuring illustrations of the character designs and background art. I also added on the stretch goals rewards, which includes this book of animation artworks. The art pieces inside are in sketch forms, and I really love this. Lastly is this storyboard book, featuring the animation storyboard frames for the little movie or trailer that was made for Plantopia. And these are all the physical rewards I got for paying extra through Kickstarter. Now, on to the figure, the main highlight of this Kickstarter. The box size is quite compact despite how complex the figure looks. On the box, there are no window panels, but there are quite a bit of photos and illustrations for the figure on it. The packaging also feels quite premium, especially with the way this box opens up. Inside, I got another thank you card, this time indicating all the names of the people that supported this Kickstarter. My nickname is in it. Apparently, as part of supporting the crowdfunding, supporters are also featured on Plantopia's official website here. This can be found under the news section in this thank you article. My nickname is here, lols. Anyway, back to unboxing. Inside the box, there is also an illustration of Alpha at the bottom of the box. It's a very nice surprise. We also get a set of instructions in both Japanese and English. For the figure, base, and accessories, there are 2 blister packages. So be sure to cut off any tape before snapping open the top blister package. Inside the bottom blister package, I first have Alpha's base, which is a very natural looking rockscape thing with very natural looking moss. Since my figure is from Kickstarter, it has a number on the plaque that's on the base. I'm not sure if the figures from the regular sales will have this. Next, we have Alpha's giant axe. And my gosh, this metal thing is heavy. You can hear the weight of it as I put it on the table. On to the next blister package. I have this ribbon that goes onto Alpha's weapon, followed by Alpha's Sakura flower twin tails hair. It's very pretty. Lastly, I have Alpha herself. Her head is detachable for some reason, so gotta remove that plastic sheet in between her head and neck. With that out of the way, Alpha looks so intricate and gorgeous. And that's all the components we have for this figure. Now, to assemble this fragile looking thing. For assembly, I want to first comment about how impressed I am with this set of instructions. This is probably the most comprehensive set of instructions I've seen thus far. Firstly, it comes with an English translation, which is always appreciated. It also indicates the areas on the figure where there may be potential risk of paint transfer. So you can take note of it when you assemble the figure. And the last point, which I super appreciate, is how to hold intricate parts when attaching them to the figure. They are very specific on how you should hold the components, and I really appreciate that. So if something happens to the figure along this assembly process, then all the blame's on me. To start off, the instruction says to set up the weapon on the base first. This is Alpha's axe, and it looks so beautifully sculpted. So much details on this thing. And it is quite heavy, so don't hold this by the wood-looking pole. At the side of the pole, there is a plastic pack. Here is the base, which looks really natural. By the way, did I mention that mine is numbered? Anyway, here is the hole on the base which Alpha's axe slots into. When putting the axe on, take note of the potential paint transfer between the axe and the rock. Also, the tip of the axe is apparently fragile, so be sure not to chip it. I used a microfiber cloth for protection over here. Thereafter, I slot the pack on the axe into the hole in the base. It fits quite snugly when at the correct angle. and the X is really sitting on the rock, so I had to lift it up a bit to remove the cloth. Definitely don't want this X to be rubbing against that rock. To finish up the weapon, we attach this pink ribbon. The instructions specified that to hold this thing correctly, we have to grip this chain-like portion. The peg at the end of this thing then slots into the end of the X. I realized I should have also put a cloth below the figure, cause when this thing moves, the X rubs against the table surface. Next up is Alpha herself. She has a plastic peg on her bum, and it slots into this hole at the top of the base. Now, to set her on the base. She sits on her base quite perfectly. Lastly, we have Alpha's fragile yet pretty looking twin tails. Starting with the right side, the twin tail has a plastic peg at the end, and this goes into the hole on her head. This peg and hole have a unique shape to differentiate which side the twin tails goes to. The instructions also specified to hold the hair at this black portion, so as to avoid breaking anything. The hair should fit perfectly when positioned at the correct angle, so don't force it in, but rotate until you get it right. Here is the Sakura twin tail for the left side, and it is assembled the same way as the right. The peg on this, as well as the hole on her head, have a different shape from the right side. Once again, hold this twin tail by the black portion and slot it into the head. At the correct angle, this twin tail also goes in very smoothly. With that, I have the non-scale figure of Alpha from Plantopia, which is illustrated by Lam and manufactured by Goodsmile company, fully assembled. Despite how intricate and complicated this figure looks, assembly process was actually not too bad. We just gotta take note of the potential paint transfer areas and the correct angle to insert each component, especially the hair. Don't try to force the hair in. You have to tilt it at the exact correct angle for it to go in very smoothly. Other than the very smooth assembly process, this figure looks stunning. The composition and her pose is just as per the illustration. And the amount of shading and textures on this thing, amazing. Starting from the top, the first thing that catches my eye is Alpha's hair. It's so beautifully sculpted. Sakura flowers as hair is just an aesthetic concept. I love it. The black accessory she has to tie up her hair is also very lovely, and the golden rims paintwork is very neat. I wish there were more shading or paintwork for the Sakura petals, which would make it more detailed. But for something so intricate looking already, I suppose that will be tough. Alpha's face is also very nicely painted, especially her eye decals. Most of her face is covered, but her pink eyes stand out from her pale skin. Her iris also has a flower pattern, which adds to the detail of this character design. The details also carry on to her outfit, which has both a glossy and shiny texture. The paintwork is very neat, especially the gold trimmings found all around it. Below the cape, there is also tiny line patterns making this figure look more intricate. Moving down the figure, we have Alpha's base. She sits on this rock, which may be some old ruins, and it's covered in very realistic looking moss. The paintwork on this thing is amazing. By the way, mine is numbered, 0154. Besides the base, Alpha's X is also super detailed. For one, it is metal or feels and sounds like real metal. The pole also looks like an old tree branch, as the paintwork on it looks so real. The weapon also looks used, with wear and tear on it. This ruggedness works very well with the overall look of this figure. With a very neat looking Alpha at the top, the juxtaposition of this is very aesthetic. All in all, I have no regrets supporting this Kickstarter. Sure, the Kickstarter was way more expensive than the asking price on Ami Ami pre-order. but it came with various bonus items, including the illustration art book and storyboard books. It makes me appreciate the figure a lot more, knowing where the source material comes from. Also, I think it's only through the Kickstarter where you can get the monochrome version. But for me personally, a colored figure would make my collection pop a lot more. My main issue about this figure is just the scale of Alpha. She is very small, possibly less than a 1/7, maybe a 1/8 scale. I can understand why they made her so small. They definitely wanted to contrast her size with her giant axe. And the contrast is working very well. But I do understand that if they made Alpha in a bigger scale, the rest of the figure would have to be much bigger as well. And I would probably end up not having enough space for the axe and the base. But seeing the asking price for this figure, I think having a bigger scale would justify that. I suppose they asked for that price because of the amount of details, shading and textures that they have put into this figure. Sure, it does look really nice, but for the size, I personally feel that the price is a bit hard to swallow. Regardless, I already have her and I have no regrets. She's a wonderful piece to add to my collection, and if you're on the fence about it, hopefully she drops in the aftermarket so you can pick her up. I bet that's probably what most of you are thinking about. And that's all for today's video. I was really looking forward to getting this figure and I'm so happy to unbox this. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing too. If you like what you saw, do leave a like and comment what you think. Will you be getting this as well, or is she way too overpriced for you? Do subscribe as well with notifications to stay tuned to more videos. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye bye!